So we might as well get started now. I mean, we're not going to do a really boring class on business planning. Who's done a real boring class on business planning? That's not what I'm going to do. I taught business planning for 7 years in real estate, and I understand the problem with business plans is they don't work, number one. So we're going to talk today about how to think. Okay, this is going to be a thought leadership class on how to think about business planning. We are going to do some actual things. I've got some stuff I want to pull the whiteboard out and show you. We're going to do a couple fun little exercises. I know several of you already because I've been doing stuff here for years. Some of you I just met today, but I am Rick Gray. So I've been a real estate broker for 31 years. I started in April of 1994 in Bend, Oregon. My dad was a builder. My dad, my mom, and I all got our licenses at the same time. So I worked at Nike as a fitness personal trainer at the World Campus in Beaverton. I graduated from the University of Oregon back in 1992. Date myself a little bit here. And worked as a personal trainer doing fun stuff. And it's like, how do you make any money in this? And I remember talking to my boss and I go, well, Joe over here makes a lot of money. He goes, yeah, well, Joe's been in here a lot longer than you have, Rick. I'm like, well, I'm a lot better than Joe, though. He's like, Rick, it sounds like you need to get into commission sales. Never forget, John Truax is my boss at Nike. He goes, Rick, it sounds like you need to get into commission sales. So I ended up getting my real estate license. I worked at Mount Bachelor as a ski instructor that winter. I skied 200 days that year. Then I got my real estate license in April of 94, and real estate has been kind of my life ever since. I built a huge team in Portland. We were the number 77 team in the country in 2010. I sold over 400 transactions, my team. My wife and I had been born and raised in West Lynn, if you know where West Lynn, suburb of Portland. We got tired of the traffic. We got tired of the weather. We got tired of the politics. We got tired of a lot of things in Portland. And this is 2010. I'm like, we need to raise our kids somewhere else. So our son was born in 06. Our daughter was born in 08. We started looking for cities and places. We thought about going back to Bend because we got married in Bend in 1995. We liked Bend. And we had Boise too, because we'd been here. I graduated from Ontario High School in 1988, by the way. So I only lived in Ontario for 2 years, but I kind of learned the area, loved it. We came here and visited some friends. So we moved here in 2011. So I've been back ever since. Lots of changes since 2011. But I'm working with Jeff. I started coaching Jeff back in 2017. I coached Jeff every week, 2018 and 2019. We took a little break. He started the Sweet Group in 2020. And then I came in once a week for 2 years, and that's where I know a lot of you guys. And then I came in for another year once a month, and then now I'm working with Jeff to kind of do more classes, do more fun events, and create more culture, really. Jeff's got back-end systems down. That's what he's good at. But we just want to do some more cultural kind of things and have fun for the agents, so that's why I'm here. So I'm glad you guys are all here this morning. So we're going to go through several fun things today. Business planning, how to think. Okay, there's going to be thought leadership stuff. I'll show you a couple of slides here. But most business plans fail. Anybody ever done a business plan that failed before, right? The reason they fail, some typical things, inadequate and inconsistent lead gen. This is one of the biggest problems with real estate is we kind of straddle the line between operations and sales. You have to do both, especially if you're a traditional agent and not a team. You're doing everything on your own. So inconsistent lead gen is a big problem. And business plans are typically kind of linear. They don't take into account how real estate really works, which is seasonal. Right? Real estate, if you guys know this, probably you do, the second quarter is number one. That's our Olympics. Second quarter is the most houses sell of any time. Second quarter. Fourth quarter is number two. We're in the fourth quarter. This is actually a good time. Third quarter is number 3, and then first quarter is number 4, if you want to know the actual numbers. But that doesn't really have to define you, Dave, right? I mean, 12,000 homes are going to sell in Boise this year. I'm assuming you're not selling 12,000. So if your number's below 12, right, 11.5, if your number's below 12,000, then you can do your number, right? It's contained in that umbrella. So we don't have to be a slave to the market, but people are typically really inconsistent. They're inconsistent with follow-up. So Bobby, one of the reasons I do my ice baths every day, so I'm an ice bath guy, so you'll get to know me more as we go through the years together. Today is 1,049 ice baths in a row. So this December will be 3 years where I have not missed a single day, every single day. And the reason I do that, I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and my back's always killing me. And I was a long distance runner all growing up. I ran track at Oregon. But my back always hurt, and I couldn't figure anything. I tried everything. Yoga actually was fairly helpful, although I still had a terrible sore back. I tried cryotherapy. My doctor tried to prescribe diclofenac. I hate taking drugs for anything, and it didn't work anyway. But I was the guy, if I dropped something, I'd be like this, right? Like I couldn't bend over. Like literally, I couldn't hardly carry my bag. If you ever suffer with chronic low back pain, it got to the point where I was like, I will do anything. And I remember thinking, ice baths. I know athletes do ice bath. Why don't I try an ice bath? On the way home, this is in December of 2022, on my way home from Jiu-Jitsu in Eagle, I drove over the river. Now there's that fun little bathroom area and stuff right there. You know where I'm talking, on Linder Road. I used to just be a dirt parking lot. I walked down to the water. There was 4 inches of snow. It was 19 degrees. I said, I'm gonna get in the water. So I got in the water and I sat there for 2 minutes or so. I videoed myself. I have that first video still. It's like, you remember? And my back felt better. It's like, not like cured, but it's like, okay, there's something to this. So then the next day, I went to D&B Supply and bought a Rubbermaid stock tub, a 100-gallon stock tub, and I filled it with water. It froze that night, solid. My dad's like, okay, Rick, put like a pond pump in it or something to keep the water circulating. I'm like, good idea. So I did that. But then I started doing it December 28th of 2022. Every single day. I have not missed a day since then. And now I have an actual plunge, which is like a hot tub with cold water. It's got jets and a filter, and it's really cool. When I'm on the road, I find places. But this is why, guys, consistency. I focus on improving myself with consistency. Consistency is a real skill that people don't talk about enough. Most people can do the right things. They just don't do it enough. Honestly. I mean, most realtors know how to lead generate, how to close somebody. I mean, we could go through all that stuff, and I'll be doing classes on that to help, but consistency is so important. If you can learn how to do less things, but do them more consistent, you will get much better results. That's, Alex Hormozi. Anybody know who Alex Hormozi is online? I talk about him, or I told you about him, Tracy, the other day. So he's an influencer, like a sales guy on social media. He's one of the biggest. If you guys heard of Gary Vee, like his family had a winery, and he was pretty big a few years ago. Alex Hormozi is the new guy, like sells a tremendous amount of stuff. He's like, people say social media doesn't work. He goes, well, social media works for him. He makes millions of dollars every month. He goes, he puts out 450 pieces of content every week. That's right, Bobby. 450 pieces of content every week. So if you say, well, social media doesn't work, I will ask you your question then. How much social media are you doing, Corey? 450 a week? I bet not, right? It's like open houses, postcards, for sale by owners, circle prospecting. None of this stuff works. It all works, actually, if you're good at it and if you're consistent and do a lot of it. You can build a tremendous business on any one of them. So consistency is a huge thing. Insufficient financial planning for the long sales cycle. That's true. When I taught careers, I used to teach at Keller Williams, I taught the career class. It's like, if you're gonna get into real estate, you better have like at least 6 months worth of savings to live on, because you're gonna have a lot of outgo before there's any income, right? And failure to adopt to hyper-local market conditions. Who cares about the real estate news in Florida or Texas or California? Like, real estate's like the weather, literally. It's right here. It could be snowing right now in McCall, but it's not right here. This is a completely different market than McCall. Like, we have to know our local market and get really good at educating our clients on that too, because sometimes they struggle with that. We'll talk about that. They also neglect the importance of systems for managing the high volume of administrative tasks, which detract from revenue generating activities. That's the big problem. If you start doing revenue generated activities and you start getting some traction, what happens to your administrative tasks? You have tons more, and now you got to do all that. And now my personality, I don't like doing all that. I can't tell you, the reason I started a team, how many times I was in a listing presentation, I'm talking to this guy, and I'm sitting here thinking to myself, I don't want this listing. I don't really like this guy. He's going to be hard to work with. This house sucks. It's a Frankenstein. He wants way too much for it. I'm literally in the listing presentation thinking these thoughts. Has anybody ever done that before? Mike, I know you have. I'm like, so we subconsciously, sometimes consciously, but subconsciously, we cost ourselves a lot of business because we have to do all the work if we get that business. And we don't want to do all that work. We like getting listings. We're entrepreneurs, right? We don't like all the follow-up, the detail work, the data input form, all that stuff. I hated all that stuff. So that's why I started a team. My first teammate was my wife, because she loves that kind of stuff. She's very detail-oriented. She loves filling out data input forms, scheduling photographies, turning stuff into the office. Good, go do all that stuff. Let's go get more listings. When I started realizing that, wow, I got a lot more business. And when I teamed up with Nick, my friend in Portland, we built a huge team together because we said, look, we only had 6 agents. We had 9 admin staff. That's how lopsided our team was. 6 active agents with 9 admin. But we gave them everything. We were literally like the doctor of selling. That was our model. So the doctor of selling, when you go to a doctor's appointment, you call and make an appointment, not with the doctor, with somebody else. You check in with somebody else. Then you go get your vitals taken with somebody else. And then the doctor comes in for like 2 minutes. And then you check out with somebody else. Like, that's what we did. So I was going to be like, hey, I'm going to close deals and I'm going to have somebody else do all the other stuff. And we built a huge business doing that. Because agents are terrible at this. And it's not your fault. It's the job. The nature of the job. The admin and the sales are very different things, different brains, and so we get torn back and forth between both of them. So we need to have a business plan that takes this into account and simplify. That's going to be my goal today, is to simplify how we think about 2026. So I want to get started. I want to talk about having a system, how important that is. So some of you have done this with me. It's been a while, so I don't know if you remember. A lot of you, this is going to be new. So I want to pass this out. And I'm going to have a little contest here, okay? I want everybody to do this. And when I say go, I'm going to give you some instructions. Can you pass these down for me, Bobby? Sure, I'm going to give you some instructions here. When I say go, take one of these, Mike. You got a pen, Jacob? Yeah. All right. So when I say go, what I want you to do is, everybody needs a pen, right? Do we have pens around here anywhere?
I'm going to get some.
Oh, you're going to grab some, Anna? Okay, Anna's going to grab some pens. Here's the instructions. Don't look at it yet. No, I'm teasing. But when I say go, I want you to start with number 1 and circle it. Okay? Then go to number 2 and circle it. Number 3. Don't skip. Be honest here. Don't skip. Don't start yet, Mike. You got to wait. So I want you to go 1, 2, as high as you can go. Literally in order, and find the actual number, and don't cheat. Don't skip ahead. If you see 5 and you're on 3, don't circle 5. You know what I'm saying? Okay? Okay. I'm going to give you 1 minute to do this. When I say go, in a second, and you're going to learn a good lesson when we do this. Anna's going to cheat. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go in order.
Oh my God.
30 seconds. It's a big prize, so you better get as many as you can. Ten seconds. 2, 1. Stop. Okay, stop. Pen it down. So, give me some numbers. What'd you get, Corey?
16.
16?
Yeah.
Pretty good.
10.
10? Right. Tracy, 12?
17.
17, Dave. Bobby, what'd you get?
I think I got to just 12.
12?
Yeah.
I think I got 12 first time I did this. What'd you get?
I got 11, but I had to stretch my pen for a minute. Okay.
Oh, that cost you some time. Nice. Travis? 11, Travis? What'd you get, Anna? Huh?
16.
16. Nice. Yeah.
Also 11.
11. Mike?
11.
Okay. Cool. Now, take your paper, the same paper. Okay. I'm going to repass out. I made enough so everybody can have 2 of these. But take the one that you have right now. First of all, I'm going to show you this. Okay. Take your paper. I want you to fold it into thirds. It's kind of hard to show, but so fold it down about like this. So it's like in thirds, and then fold it up. So hopefully it's kind of like even. See what I'm saying here? So you've got 3 sections. So your paper should look like this.
The one we just did?
Yeah, the one you just did. Okay, everybody get this? So now fold it this way in thirds. Fold it down, like right about there, and then fold this over like that. So now it looks like this. You have 9 sections. Everybody get that? Okay. Corey, you got that?
Yep.
You got it? All right, now look, now watch. Okay. Remember your number from what you got the first time, by the way. Write it down somewhere or whatever. I want you to remember what your number was. Okay. Follow with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Do you see this? A pattern? Who does not see this? I want you to see this. Do you see the pattern? There's a pattern here, okay? Right? Okay, let's do this again. Do it again. Start over. I want a new piece of paper now. I want you guys to start over. We're going to do the same exact thing again. See if you can get a better score now that you know a little bit of strategy. Tracy, do you understand the strategy? You got it? I'm serious. I want you to understand it. Does anybody not get it?
Thank you.
You guys all understand the strategy of the quadrants?
Yep.
Okay. So we're going to start over. When I say go, don't cheat. When I say go, we're going to start over.
Can we go ahead and fold or no?
No, don't fold it. You're cheating, Bobby. When I say go, we're going to do the same thing, starting at 1. Again, we're going to start over like we didn't do it at all. But now we know a strategy.
No.
You don't get to fold it.
Okay.
No. But you know, right, what it's supposed to look like.
Okay, we just know the pattern from up here.
You should know the pattern. Okay, you guys ready?
Yep.
4, 3, 2, 1, go. I hear more pens going. Sounds like people are getting more. That's good. Thirty seconds.
Gosh.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop. Stop. Okay. Who did better? Everybody do better? Did anybody not do better? What'd you get?
48.
48. Yeah. You got them all?
Got 'em all.
53? I guess 54, whatever. What'd you get, Travis?
33.
33.
My competitive side
Jacob?
is coming out.
41. Mike?
No.
36.
36.
36. Good job, Bobby.
51.
What'd you get?
17.
Still better than the last time. So here's the point, guys. Is the reason you did so much better the second time because you were trying so much harder? Was this an effort thing?
Nope.
You weren't trying hard the first time at all?
Nope.
No, you were trying, weren't you? This is a really good lesson. I want you to get this lesson. In real estate, people will try really hard and fail at real estate because they don't have a strategy that works. They dabble in everything and then they don't get any traction anywhere. It's not about effort. Okay? It's about knowing what to do. If you know the plan, if you have a strategy that's a proven strategy that works and you follow it, you will succeed in real estate, period. If you don't, you won't, period, no matter how hard you try. I mean, I love the Hollywood movies where the guy's like, okay, this one really matters. And, you know, he has all these great memories and things are coming up and he's like, I'm going to try really hard this time. It's like, okay, it is not about effort, guys. Everybody's putting in effort. Now, certainly some people put in more effort than others, but at some point, effort doesn't matter anymore. It's, do you have the right strategy? Do you think in the Olympics, there's only one gold medalist in every event. Do you think he's the one that wanted to win, or she, and nobody else wanted to win? It's like, no, they had a better training program. They had a better plan. They had something different than everybody else. It's not a lack of effort that keeps us from succeeding. You have to have the strategy. She says, okay, so what's my strategy in real estate then? Okay, let's talk about this. Let's talk about, I'm going to draw a little picture up here. Some of you have seen this. I've done this recently with a couple of you. But I want everybody to do this to remember how to do this. So take one of those pieces of paper on the back. I want you to draw your 4 quadrants. I've done this with just a couple of you recently. This is really important. So we're going to have 4 quadrants, right? These are the only ways to generate business in real estate. This is it. So on the top, I want you to write direct. I'll use a different color so you can see. Direct. Whoops, that pen doesn't work. Any of these pens work. There we go. Direct contact. And on the bottom, I want you to write indirect. Tracy, we just did this. This is good though. Okay, direct contact on the top, indirect on the right. I want you to write hot on the right and cold on the left. Okay, so let's just define these terms. Direct contact is what I'm doing to you right now. We're talking. This is direct contact. If I call you on the phone, that's direct contact. If I meet you in person, that's direct contact. Indirect is I send you a text, I send you an email, I send you a DM, I send you a postcard, I send you a handwritten note, send you a text with a video of me on it, right? Those are indirect ways to talk to people. See the difference? Hot are people you know, cold are people you don't know. Okay? So let's just talk about how to sell real estate. One way is if you like to directly talk to people that you know, you're a networker. So we're going to define these categories when we start doing the business planning because you got to know what your lane is. If you like to directly talk to people that you know, that's what networkers do. They host parties, they host events, they do pop buys, bring little items of value to people. They take people to lunch, they take people to coffee. They teach classes, they join groups, they start groups. I started a mountain bike group. I had a fly fishing club in Oregon. They do all kinds of things that are their style, and they do it with people that have similar interests, and they talk to them directly. Okay, that's what a networker does. So if I'm a networker, I'm gonna be making, you bet, a list. We're gonna go through this in a minute. All the things a networker does, and then every week I'm going to have a strategy session and say, okay, I'm going to time block doing those things, right? And staying in my lane. If you like to indirectly talk to people, this is a marketer, okay? Marketers like to send newsletters, electronic newsletters, paper newsletters. They send DMs to people on social media. They text people. They do all kinds of stuff, direct mail, handwritten notes, Brian Buffini method, right? That's a marketer. They're sending things to people that they know, but typically indirectly, not directly. Okay? If you like to directly talk to people you don't know, this is how I started in real estate, you're a prospector. Prospectors cold call people. They call online leads. How many of you here on the leads program? Okay? Online leads. Open houses. You're directly talking to people you don't know. So I'd say that's a prospecting task. Expireds, for sale by owners. I made my living on for sale by owners for 2 years. The last 2 years of my career, when I was selling a lot, I was doing FSBOs constantly because I love FSBOs. So if you guys want to learn FSBOs, we can talk about that kind of stuff. Open houses is the other thing that I love. So prospector does directly talking to people they don't know. And then if you like to indirectly talk to people you don't know, you're a converter. Converters use systems to convert people. Drip campaigns, email drip campaigns, letter drip campaigns. Let the people raise their hand. Okay, Dave, we'll talk. Right? Or, okay, take me off your list. Don't ever call me again. Whichever it is. But the system converts them, and then you talk to them once they raise their hand. So here's what most real estate businesses are. They're either prospecting or networking based. That's kind of the main thing. Either prospecting based or networking based and marketing enhanced. This is what we find most businesses are. So here's the problem. Most real estate agents dabble in all of these things. And they don't do really well, or at least really consistently, at any of them. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So then they don't get traction. It's like, well, I called 5 for sale by owners. They all hung up on me. I held 5 open houses. I mailed 100 postcards. Like, well, none of that's going to work, guys. Call 100 for sale by owners. Hold 150 open houses. Like, let's start putting the numbers together. That's when you get traction with things. And that's when you get good at things. Doing a handful of a lot of things is not a great way to get better at stuff. Okay? So what I want you to do right now is think about if I'm marketing enhanced, so probably marketing is going to be one of them. What is the other one for you? I want you to think about that, because as we go through some more of these slides on this business plan, I want you to think about what's your lane. Stay in your lane. Do a good job in your lane and you'll have plenty of business. If you want to fill all these holes, then build a team. One person is not going to do all these things effectively. They're just not. I'm not going to be the converter. I'm not going to be a great marketer. It's not my skill set. It's not how my brain works. So if I'm going to want to do that kind of stuff, I need to hire other people to do that stuff for me that are better than me at it. Why wouldn't I do that? But I want you to think about your lane, and we're going to, as we go through some of these exercises in a minute, think about that in context of, okay, if I'm a prospector, I better have some open houses on my calendar. If Rick comes by and says, let me see your calendar, and you're a prospector, are you holding open houses? Like when I moved here in 2011. I didn't have any listing. I had a big team in Oregon, okay? So I had an advantage that I had a big team already. I had good income. So I came here. I was an ELP with Dave Ramsey. You guys know what that is? I was an endorsed local provider. So there's like 4 of us, me, Mike Brown, Barb Dopp, and Michael Egger. That was it when I moved here. Now there's 100 ELPs in Boise, I think. I was the only one of 4. So I got leads from Dave Ramsey. That helped. I held leads open for 2 agents in my office that had a lot of listings because I didn't have any listings. So I asked them, Craig Zuber and Scott Swan. You guys know them? I held their listings open. They're decent still producers to this day. But I said, hey, can I hold you guys open? They're like, yeah, hold on. They're not going to hold it open. They didn't care. So I would hold open houses every single day. I've told you this before, Brent. During drive time, like 4 to 6, just 2 hours, 4 to 6 p.m. in the evening and 11 to 1 on the weekend. And I had branded signs. I had my name out there, so I wanted people to see me. And so many people said, Rick, I see your signs everywhere. I didn't even have any listings. But they see my signs everywhere because I was holding other people's listings open every day, every single day. My first listing that I got was in Storybrooke. You guys right across the street from Rib Shack and Eagle. You guys know where that is? Little neighborhood back behind there. It's called Storybrooke. I knocked that whole neighborhood. I got 3 more listings after I got that one listing there. I had got my license January 6th. By the end of February, I had 16 listings.
Wow.
Now, this is 2011, so it's a different market than we have now, let me say that. But, I mean, I got leads from Dave Ramsey. I got leads because I was running ads on the radio, and I was a door knocking and open house fool. I did it every day, all day. That was my focus. So stay in your lane, pick your lane, and let's figure out how to stay in it, okay? So anybody, does this help give clarity and direction to kind of what category I want to live in? Don't live in all four of them. That's a great recipe for disaster. Let's pick something to get really good at. So have a system. The way you have a system is, okay, I'm going to pick my categories first of all, then I'm going to build out. Here's a system for you. Have a strategy session every Monday morning. If I'm a networker, I'm going to have a strategy session on Monday morning at 8 o'clock and say, okay, this week I'm going to do 2 coffee appointments, 2 lunches. I'm going to go to a class. I'm going to host something. And I'll time block them right then. Even though I don't know who I'm taking to lunch or coffee, it's in my calendar. Somebody's going to come with me. Right? I'm going to start talking to people. I'm going to start talking to my past clients, my sphere. Literally, I'll fill the appointments with people. But my strategy session is every Monday at 8 o'clock. Period. That never varies. The action sessions can vary what I create from that strategy session. But if you do that every week, every single week, you'll get better and better and start learning what you like, what you don't, what works, what doesn't work for you. Does that make sense? That's a great little system. Weekly strategy sessions where you build your action sessions off of it in your lanes. Stay in your lane. Okay. Questions on that? Does that make sense? Okay. So let's talk about a couple things. There's some principles to a modern business plan. Whenever we talk about business planning, I always talk about your life first. Business is not life. Business is part of life. Business is supposed to support and fund your life, but it's not your life. So I always tell people the first thing we got to do is have a life vision. Like, where do you want to live? How do you want to live? Well, how many vacations do you want to take? How many evenings do you want to work? How many weekends? Like, figure this out. Figure out, what does my ideal life look like? Then I'll figure out how to create a business to support that. Does that make sense? Most people start with, hey, I want to make $250,000 a year, Travis. Or I want to make, whatever. They pull some number out of the air. I want to sell 30 houses next year. Why? Like, that doesn't mean anything to anybody, even you. So why would you say that? It's like, starting with a number, a GCI number or a sales number is pointless. Because when things get really difficult, are you really committed to that? No. Well, it sounded like a good number at the time. I'm not committed to it. So your plan's got to serve your life. Your life must not be a servant to your business. That's the problem. It's kind of like a diet. That's the problem with traditional business plans. It's a suffer fest. Dieting is suffering, right, Brent? We can only suffer for so long, then we're not going to want to suffer anymore. Well, I can suffer for a while. I can go work out with Brent on a Saturday morning, get my butt kicked, and suffer for a while. But then I want to go back to not suffering. That's why diets don't work. We'll suffer and suffer and suffer, and then okay, I'm done suffering. We have to literally live the way we want to live. So how is it that we want to live? That's sustainable. And then how can I create a business to support how I want to live? A plan is a compass. This is one of my favorite things. It's a compass for direction, not a map in a fixed destination. It's not a Google map, this is where you're going. It's a compass, like we're going that way. But there's not a fixed time. So my favorite story, so I was on an airplane years ago with Chuck Blakeman, who is a business author. He's a fairly well-known consultant. He does Fortune 50 companies consulting, a lot of big companies. And we were sitting next to each other on an airplane doing a seminar together. And he told me the story, it's still my favorite story of all time, about how to think of a business plan, because he hates business plans. I says, Chuck, what do you do? He goes, remember Lewis and Clark? I'm like, yeah. He goes, so Lewis and Clark, that's the business plan. So they start in St. Louis, Missouri. Their goal is to find the ocean. That's what their goal is. They don't know how far the country goes. Nobody knows how far the country, how far does this go? That was their goal, find the ocean. They didn't know how far it was, how long it was going to take them. I mean, the whole thing. It took them almost 3 years, 2.5 years to finally find the ocean. But the point was, if you drew a little line on a topographical map of their route, he goes, that's a business plan right there. Some days they made really good time. In Kansas, they probably went pretty far. And then they got to Colorado. All of a sudden, they didn't get very far. It's like all of a sudden, days or weeks to go a few miles. It's like, but they didn't know that. They didn't anticipate any of that. They just took it as it came. He goes, that's how a business plan works. It's not linear. It's not consistent. But here's what we do. 3 things every single day. Where am I right now? Well, I'm in this prairie. Where do I want to go? I want to go west. What can I do right now to start moving in that direction? We can start heading west. The next day, where am I at right now? We're on the side of a mountain. Where do I want to go? I want to go west. What can I do right now? I can go down to the bottom of this valley. Okay, let's go down. The next day is every single day. It's evaluating where are we, where do we want to go, and what can we do to move in that direction. And this never ends. A business plan is not a document that's finished. It never ends. Does that make sense? That's a business plan. Some days you'll get all kinds of great stuff done. Other days you'll hardly get anything done. So what? As long as you're moving in the right direction, that's the whole point. And that's what Lewis and Clark learned. And that's, their map was finished when they were done. They didn't have a map at the beginning, they had a map at the end. Right? That's a really great visual for a business plan. It's a living, breathing document that changes all the time because we're always evaluating. Have you guys done a SWOT? We're going to talk about SWOTs here in a few minutes. Have you guys ever done a SWOT before? Okay, so we're going to do some SWOTs together for those of you that haven't, so that's a good thing. It's a living document. It's not a stone tablet to be obeyed. This is constantly changing. It's mid-course corrections all the time. Start with your desired life and work back to your freedom number, not forward from some arbitrary GCI. Like if I said, okay, this is where I want to live. I want to live in this neighborhood, drive this kind of car, work this many hours, take this many vacations. How much money is that going to cost? Okay, it's going to cost X amount of dollars to do that. Okay, that's my freedom number. If I can make a business, create a business to hit that number, then I can do that. That's motivating to me. I'm motivated by real goals, like something actually has a chance to work. But if you just said, hey, let's go make $10 billion this year, it's like, well, sounds good, but I'm probably not motivated because I don't really believe I can do that right now. Does that make sense? Like if it was a fitness goal, if you say, hey, Rick, go run a 4-minute mile. If you could run a 4-minute mile in I'll give you 6 months. It's like, well, I was a runner and I'm not in my college days. I'm 55 now. I don't believe I can ever run a 4-minute mile again. I can't do it. So I wouldn't be motivated. So I'll give you $1 billion. I don't care. Give me $1 trillion. I can't do it. I mean, it will not happen. I don't believe it can happen. If you said, well, how about a 5-minute mile? Well, maybe. I don't know. 6-minute mile? Okay, let's go for that, right? The goal has to have some reality to you. Otherwise, you're not motivated to do it. You have to have some belief that you can actually do this. So we're going to talk about your ideal client a lot as we go through this. Who's your ideal client and what do you want to do for them? A lot of you moved here from California. That's probably a good market. For sale by owners is probably first-time home buyers is probably not a very good niche right now because affordability is very difficult, right? Idaho's changed a lot in the last 10 years. Affordability is difficult. So first-time home buyers, if you probably look at the statistics, is the lowest it's ever been. Typically, about 25% of our market is first-time home buyers. Now it's around 10. Lowest it's ever been in history. So if that's your niche, you better have a backup plan. Because some people do have a niche of first-time home buyers. They love working with them and teaching classes, and that's great. You're going to have to be an expert in that and make sure everybody can find you to have enough business to make it worthwhile. Otherwise, you need a backup plan. Okay. Who are you going to serve? There's another book, if you like books, Uncopyable. I'm a big reader, I read all the time, so I'll give you some good books along the way as we do these classes. But Uncopyable by Steve Miller. I was thinking of this. Steve Miller, man. Steve Miller, Uncopyable. It's only like 100 pages long. It's a great little marketing book. It talks about your message. What's the message? Like, who are you talking to? So the very first example in the book is moose hunting. If you go moose hunting with an elk call, it's not going to work very good. You got to figure out, what am I going after? I am going after transplants from Southern California. Oh, okay. What is their issue? What's their problem? What are they trying to solve? Figure that out. Is it recreational opportunities? Is it schools? What is it that's important to them? Is it they have a young family? Then what's the message that's going to resonate? What's the media that's going to work for them? Are they on social media? Is billboards work? You guys know Austin Callison sells lots of ranches and farms. He's all over billboards. Why? Because farmers and ranchers look at billboards. Most people don't, but farmers and ranchers do. They're not on social media. Let me tell you. They're 80-year-old old farm people that don't get on social media and TikTok. They look at billboards, they go to their local Grange, they're in the ag magazines, so that's where he is. You got to be where your people are, but you got to figure out who your people are first. Okay? Comes from mastering. Success comes from mastering 1 or 2 high leverage activities, not dabbling in 10. That's really important. So the primary job of the plan is to help you decide what you won't do. That's why we did this. What am I not going to do? I'm not going to worry about this at all. I'm not going to worry about this at all. If I'm a networker, let's just do this. Let's really get focused on what's going to work for me. And then measure your progress by your actions, not just results. That's a really big thing. I always set goals for myself around activities, not results, because I don't really control results. There's too many factors between here and there. If you said, well, I want to get 10 listings next month. The challenge with that is I would rather set a goal on making 100 phone calls a day or something. I'd rather set a goal on something I can do. I can make 100 phone calls in a day. I may or may not be able to get 10 listings. I don't know if they're all going to be ready or not. I mean, there's so many other factors that I don't control. So I like to set goals around things I control. So set goals around actions. And then adaptability is the new currency. The best plan is one that can change. What's working, what's not working. That's why we do the strategy session every week. What worked last week? What went really well I should do more of? What didn't work that I should probably either do less of or not do at all? A business plan without a personal why is a car without an engine. Looks good, but doesn't go anywhere. So you got to have a why. Why am I doing this? Again, if you just pull a number out of the air, that doesn't mean anything to you. So I'm going to teach you this last little thing here, and then I'll give you a couple exercises again. How to think about your plan. We did the Lewis and Clark, but adopt a gardener's mindset. How many of you have read The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey? Okay, great book. He talks about the law of the farm in there. You know, the law of the farm, which we all understand the law of the farm. I think most people are like, okay, yeah, if you don't plant in the spring, you're not going to harvest in the fall. That's just pretty obvious. But those same laws apply to us. For some reason, we don't get that. We either don't plant or we plant very sporadically and then we beg for a harvest. Well, that's, if you saw a farmer doing that, you'd be like, you're an idiot, right? If you didn't plant in the spring, you screwed off all summer, and then come harvest time, you need to feed your family and pay off your bills, you don't have any harvest. It's like, no kidding. How obvious is that? It's the same for our businesses too. We typically don't do the things we're supposed to do consistently. So a gardener is something that's different than an architect. An architect is who designs most traditional business plans. Architects are about control. We're trying to control the future. I need this many appointments. Like, we can do the economic model, right? If you want to make $250,000 and most of your business comes from buyers, let's say it's 70% buyers, 30% listings, I can do the economic model. I have a spreadsheet. We can sit down and do it. Say, okay, what's your conversion rate? Well, I'm 20% on buyers, I'm 10% on listings. What's your average price range? So how many appointments do we need to have? So how many calls to get an appointment? We can work all the way down to, okay, every single day, Corey, you need to be making 17 calls and you'll make your 250. Like, we can do that, but does that really motivate you? Does anybody actually really do that? I mean, we can figure it out. We're reverse engineer what you need to do to make the money you want to make, but nobody does it because nobody cares because it doesn't mean anything to you. So a gardener, it means something to them. They're constantly changing and adapting. A gardener is like they don't determine the weather. They don't determine whether the seed germinates or not. They deal with it as it comes. So they prepare the soil in the fourth quarter. Clean up your database. Systems optimization. What are you doing for systems? Defining your lead gen categories, your pillars. So these are your categories. And then I always tell people, have 3 to 5 like pillars of lead gen. Like for me, it was open houses was certainly one of them. For sale by owners was another one. It's like, these are pillars, things I'm going to get really good at. I'm going to do them a lot. Don't have more than 5, but don't have less than like 2 because you need a couple. So 2 to 5 pillars. What are they going to be? That's what you do in the fourth quarter is prepare. Then plant the seeds, you take action, make the calls, create the content, run the ads, meet with clients, you do the work, do the things, and the goal is a healthy garden, not 100% germination rate. The goal is just to make things work and to be doing well. And then watering and nurturing. Kelsey, you need a chair? There's chairs right there. Right next to Mike, grab one. Watering and nurturing. Consistency, this is where we started off the very beginning with. Weekly strategy sessions and action sessions. A garden not tended will wither. That's why we don't just set a goal and then I'll look at it for 6 months. We need to look at it every single week or daily. So I taught Jeff the SWOT back in 2018 because I used to do them monthly. Jeff started doing them every day. I think he still does. 7 years later, he's doing SWOTs every single day on his business. We'll talk about a SWOT. Then weeding and pruning. This is the genius. Constantly observing, removing weeds. What's a weed in real estate? Things that don't work. Things that take your time and energy. Prune dead branches, strategies that don't produce results. That's why you have to pay attention to what's working for you and what's not working, and stop doing stuff that's not working or not enjoyable. Why would you do stuff in real estate that's not enjoyable? Real estate is a pure entrepreneurial business. That's what I love about it. There's 1,000 ways to build real estate businesses. So why would you suffer in something you don't like when you could do something you do like that actually works if you put the numbers together, right? So regular, weekly, monthly, and quarterly reviews. Ask yourself these questions. So this is what I do every single month. What do I need to start doing? It's what I call the less, more, better exercise. What do I need to stop doing? And what do I need to keep doing? I would ask myself that every week during my strategy session. That'd be part of it. A strategy session could be 5 minutes long. It doesn't have to be a long time, but it's like, okay, what am I doing this week in my category? Get my calendar out. I literally open up my Google Calendar on my phone, time block it, put those things in there, and to start thinking, okay, what should I be doing more of? Last week I did, 4 open houses, and I got 5 leads. Maybe I should do more open houses this week. I've got some great techniques for open houses, by the way, if you guys want to learn those. Because I love open houses. So this is a funny story. So you guys know Lakemore. So I repped Dan Clark, the builder, in Lakemore. You guys know Lakemore at the bottom of the hill in Eagle on the right? There's another on Linder and, State Highway 21, Riverwalk on the corner there. You guys know where that is? So that was nothing, and then I can't remember his name. Dan Clark was my builder, and there's another one that I repped in there. Anyway, we were the first like 3 or 4 houses in there, and I had my team holding them open, and they were complaining, I don't want to hold them open, and nobody comes in here, and because nothing was over there. There was like literally nothing there, but like 3 houses. And I was like, and they had done it for several weeks in a row and not gotten anything out of it. And so I went over there and said, okay, I think I've told you this story, but I said, oh, fine, I'll hold the open this weekend. You guys don't worry about it. I'll hold it both days. I got 4 listings that weekend. So I held it open with Barb Dopp. So Barb Dopp was my business. You guys know Barb? He was my business partner back then. So the 2 of us held, she held one house open, I held the other. And we got 4 listings in that one weekend. We came back and told the team that, and they're like, like, how do you do that? It's like, well, you learn how to close people. You learn how to talk to people. It could have been luck, who knows? But talking to people and the right people came in. Open houses do work. All these things I've showed you works if you put the numbers together. I've done lots of open houses where nobody came, though. I'm not saying I bat 1,000. It's just like the goal, remember, is a healthy garden. The goal is not 100% consistency and germination. So trade the anxiety of control, which is what the architect does, trying to control the future, for the confidence of adaptability. Stop fighting the market, start working with it. So this is a path to sustainable long-term growth. That's very true. So let's talk about some action steps that you guys are going to do. I don't have a clock in here, so where are we at here? Oh, good, we've got some time. Action steps. So I want you right now, we're going to do this. We're going to do a couple of these things. So we're going to do a more or less better exercise. We're going to start a SWOT. Have we already done this? Have you identified your 2 lead gen categories?
Yes.
Have you done that? Okay. And then we're going to talk about the strategy session for this month. So more or less better. Just right now, write down on a piece of paper, just a quick little off the top of your head, what are some things you should probably be doing more of? Just list 2, 3, 4, 5 things right now. What could you be doing maybe some more of that you're not doing enough of in your business? And when you get done with that, Mike, now write, what should I be doing less of? Either time wasters, things that don't work. I want to clarify this, though. This is important to understand, because people will say, because I had a nice talk with Chris the other day, Chris Norris. He's like, Rick, I'll just waste time doing this and waste time doing that. I'm like, okay, sometimes when we're wasting time, we're actually recharging. And that's fine. That's part of life. I play Fortnite with my son, like a lot. And we love to play Fortnite together. But to me, it's like, well, is that just screwing off and wasting time? And you could be doing, it's like, no, I enjoy that. My son's only a teenager once. We spend time together. That's one of our things. I'm going to do that. You could say, well, that's not very productive. Well, it allows me to be productive when I'm in production mode. Does that make sense? You have to have things that you enjoy. Don't feel guilty for doing things that you enjoy doing. That's not the purpose of this exercise. The purpose is to figure out, what am I doing that doesn't add value to anything? Because Fortnite adds value to me. It enhances my relationship with my son. My daughter, I'll tell you this story. So my daughter, I did this in an ice bath a couple weeks ago, if you watched it. I didn't drink coffee until I was 50 years old. I didn't start drinking coffee. And I don't know, somebody handed me a mocha. I don't know what it was, but it's like at Christmas, when I turned 50, somebody gave me a mocha, and I was like, so I was like, this tastes like Christmas to me. Now mochas like bring out these feelings. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, so now I drink a mocha like every day. But I used to drive by the Dutch Brothers. I live in Paramount, so there's a Dutch Bros right there by the high school, right? Have you guys ever driven by that thing? It's always packed. Like, it's crazy. I mean, I would drive by there every day for years and just like scoff at the people. I'm like, you know, you peasants waiting in line for your coffee. You know, look, there's 10 cars deep every day, every hour of the day. I mean, I should have invested in Dutch Brothers. I'm sitting there going, what? This is my problem. Because I have a friend who builds Dutch Brothers in Idaho Falls. That's what he does. He builds like half the Dutch Brothers in Idaho, his company, and it's a pretty good contract. I'm like, I should have invested in Dutch Bros. But I used to like, okay, these people drinking their coffee. Who's going to wait in line for 10 minutes to get a cup of coffee? It's like so stupid. So fast forward, my daughter is a senior at Rocky, and long story short, we've had some really tumultuous teenage years with a teenage daughter, as some of you can probably relate to. But we're like in a great space, and we have been for the last 2 years. This has been awesome. Her early teen years were really challenging, and now she's been just so much better. But that's one of our things. We go every single day. I can't tell you a day I've missed where we go to Dutch Bros, together in the car. We drive there, we wait in the line like all the other idiots, but we talk and we have a great conversation and we order what we're gonna order. We sit in the driveway, sometimes for an hour. We sit in the driveway
That is
and talk.
crazy.
And it's been like some of our best times. And we've been doing that for almost 2 years, almost every day, literally for 2 years. And it's just like, oh, is that a waste of time, a waste of money to buy these stupid Starbucks or Dutch Brothers coffee? It's like, well, no, in that context, it's not. It's actually really helped me with my life and my relationship with my daughter. That's really, really cool. So when you do these more, less, better, it's like, don't just beat yourself up for stuff because it's not productive. Some things are important to be productive. That's what life is. Remember, we start with a life vision. We want to live our life. That's number one. Then figure out a business to support that vision. So a lot of times people, I see it all the time. They set these lofty goals where they're going to have to make 17 calls a day. And then 2 weeks in, they haven't even made 17 calls. And then they beat themselves up for it, right? Well, then why did you set that goal in the first place? It's like I could say, well, I want $1 trillion like Elon Musk. I'm not willing to work like that. I'm not willing to live that kind of life. That's not what I want. So I'm not going to set a goal to make $1 trillion. That's not interesting to me. What is my life vision? That's where this all starts. Then what's your number to hit that so you can actually make that happen? So I want you to write down, everybody got 2 or 3 or 4 things you should be doing more of on your paper? Now write a couple of things you should be doing less of that are not productive, but also time wasters. They're not, because like going to Starbucks is productive, or going to Dutch Bros is productive for me and my daughter, because it's a relationship thing. It's not productive for business, but my 3 categories, guys, here's my lens. When I do my strategy sessions every week, I do this every week. My 3 lenses categories are health, family, and business. Those are my 3. You can have your own 3, you can have your own 20, whatever, but those are literally my 3 things. What am I doing this week for my health? What am I doing this week for my family and for each person, my wife, my son, my daughter, and my business? So then I go through each one and I get my calendar out and I time block dates with my daughter, I time block Fortnite with my son, I time block dates with my wife. I mean, literally it's in my calendar. I think it's really important. Those are definitely things that add value to my life, but they're not productive for my business. But that's part of juggling being a dad, and being a husband, and being a business owner, and all that kind of stuff, right?
I wouldn't say they're directly, but they are indirectly, because if you burn out,
It makes me happier, yeah.
your business crashes. if you
That's
burn
right,
out.
Travis, yeah.
Yeah.
It makes me a better, happier person, so I'm probably better to be around.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. And then better. What should I be doing better? So let me teach you the SWOT here real quick, because this is going to be a takeaway activity. So I want to announce a couple things. We're getting close to the end here, but I want to now make sure I announce a couple things. Who wants to do more classes like this? Who would come if I started doing more of these? Okay, because I'm not going to do a class for nobody, but if people want to come, because next Monday I thought we could do another one if people want to. We could continue to go through this more. I've got some more things, but I want to teach you the SWOT. But before we finish today too, I want to announce this. So next Monday, we're starting 2 different little initiatives that I'm starting with the company. So one is 7 days of giving back. So 7 days of giving back. This is something I came up with, and Zeke helped me with it as well. But we're going to do as a company. Whoever wants to be involved can be involved. You don't have to if you don't want to. But on Monday, we're going to have 7 days to do something. So Monday is live local. So we're going to feature a small business. So we're going to do it. Zeke and I are literally going to go out to a small business, do a video, interview somebody, and post it with a hashtag Sweet Group Realty. And what we're doing is encouraging you to do that. Take a selfie if you don't want to do a video. Take a selfie with the business owner. Go to a local coffee shop, go to a local paint store, whatever, and talk to the person, talk to the owner, whoever, and support a local business. That's one of our big initiatives with Sweet Group, and Jeff loves this because how do you define brokerages? What's your personality as a brokerage? One of our personalities we want to be is the local experts. It's not just about selling somebody a house. We want to embed them in the community. Here's the great places to go hiking. I'm going to do a video with Zeke this week at 13th Street. I'm going to go to Goodies because it's one of my favorite ice cream shops. We're going to walk down 13th Street, show them Lit & Co. I used to do events at Lit & Co. where you make your own candles. And there's all kinds of fun stuff. Then we're going to walk up to Camel's Back Park. We're going to walk up the stairs and say, here's a fun little hike or a little date night. And then he's going to video that and put it on our social media. So we're going to do stuff like that a lot. So we're kicking it off to you guys. Hey, if everybody wants to get involved in this, I'll send this out to everybody. But Monday is live local. Tuesday is give local. Do a random act of kindness. Buy somebody coffee that's behind you and pay for somebody something in line or whatever. Wednesday is learn local. Go to a class. So I'm teaching a class at Fidelity, just so you guys know, a week from Wednesday. This Wednesday is the 12th, so the 19th. I'm teaching at 10 o'clock at Fidelity Title. It's on AI and the AI-powered consumer. I have an AI company. That's another thing that I do. You guys need to learn this stuff. So my company, Whoosy, some of you have heard of it. I know a lot of you have used it. Whoosy is awesome. We're growing like crazy, but I'm doing a talk at Fidelity, 10 o'clock, Wednesday the 19th. That would be your learn local. Go to a local class or teach a local class. Support somebody that's doing something locally. Move local is another one we're doing. Move your body. Like get out, go on a hike, go to an ice bath, go to a gym. We're going to feature your gym. We love that place. We're going to do stuff like that. Celebrate local. So this could be a free pie. So this is one thing I used to do all the time, and I know Jaylene does. We're going to talk about this. Is if you want to on the week of Thanksgiving, I don't know if you guys are interested. I used to do a thing like I'd text my top 20 raving fans and say who wants to come in and get a pie, and then I'd go to Costco and buy the pies ahead of time. But come into the office like Tuesday before Thanksgiving on Thanksgiving week, from 5 to 6:30 in the office. If anybody wants to participate in that, we can organize something like that. Would anybody like to do something like that? It'd be fun. Okay. Reach out to your sphere. The whole reason we do events, guys, is to give us a reason to reach out to people, right? If you're a networker, this is what you should be living on, is how do I add value to somebody? Not just real estate, but just in their life. Reach out, invite them to an event, invite them to a class. It's like that kind of stuff is really important for networkers. So we're going to do a lot of these kinds of things. We'll be giving more details this week. And then I thought if we wanted to, some of you have heard of this. I know a couple of you have done this with me, but I used to do this with my team. And I told Jeff, he's like, that's awesome. Jeff loved it. So with my team, I used to do a superhero lead generation contest. It was usually 6 weeks long. So I'll send it out to everybody. Whether you participate in it or not is up to you. But we're going to start it probably next Monday. All it is you're tracking points. So if you do things, you get a certain amount of points. Like if you text a past client, that's worth 5 points. If you call a past client and have a conversation, that's 10 points. If you hold an open house, that's 25 points. It's like I've got 5, 10, 25, 50, and 100 point categories with like 10 things in each category. And so what you do is you track your points. This is encouraging you and gamifying you to do the right things, because these things all lead to more business, but it's kind of make it fun, right? And so what it's going to do at the end of the week is you tally up your points, say, okay, here's how many points I got. So for every 100 points, is how we used to do it, you get a roll of dice. I have a 30-sided dice, and every roll is a prize. It could be a lunch. It could be something silly like, a fun little toy. It could be a car wash. It could be a movie ticket. It could be something cool. Whatever it is. But we're going to do some giveaways. And if you get 300 points, you get 3 rolls. If you get 500 points, you get 5 rolls. So we got 10 minutes. So who is interested in doing something like that, the superhero, and tracking it? Because what we do is at the end of the week, we have the winner for the week, the superhero of the week, and we kind of make a big deal and wear a cape, fun stuff. And at the end of the contest, I used to do like a big prize, like, a weekend at the Shore Lodge in McCall, or I used to do stuff like that for people. But we'll come up with something, whoever wins the whole overall prize. But the whole point is it's injecting energy into your business, making it fun, and kind of gamifying things you should already probably be doing anyway. And if you learn, you go, oh, wow, Rick, I'm not even getting 100 points a week. Are you a full-time realtor, Dave? Right? You're a full-time real estate agent, right? Full-time real estate agents should be getting like 300 or 400 points a week if you look at the categories that I have down here. And if you're not full-time, that's fine, but it's a good self-reflection of how much work you're actually doing. So those are 2 things we're going to start next Monday. So if you want to come here next Monday at 10, I'll put it in the announcements and just let me know. So a SWOT, I want to talk about this because this is going to be your homework going away. Is your more, less, better. Write some things you should do more and should do less, and the things you should do better. So a SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities for change or improvement, and threats. Threats if you don't. So I would do a SWOT on, you can do anything you want, but I would start with my 3 categories: my health, my family, and my business. I'll literally do a SWOT on my health. It's like, okay, what are my strengths? Just list. Just don't get too involved in like judging yourself. Just list. I'm really good at these things. Health-wise, I work out every single day. I do an ice bath every single day. I eat really healthy, clean food. I move my body a lot. I get at least 9 hours of sleep every night. These are good. Those are my strengths. What are my weaknesses? Just list them out. When I travel, I eat crappy. I typically eat fast food when I travel. I don't work out every single day when I travel like I should. I'll do jumping jacks or things like that, but I don't go to a gym. It's like I can just start listing all the things I'm not as good at when I'm on the road. So then the biggest and the most important one is, the opportunities. What are my opportunities for change to improve that? So like for me, I started brushing my teeth at like 7 o'clock in the evening, so I won't eat anymore. Because one of my weaknesses was I'd snack, right? I'd be great all day long. And then I'd sit on the couch with my wife and we'd be talking, we'd watch a movie or watch some Netflix show or something, and I'd start snacking. 8 or 9 o'clock at night, I'm eating most of my calories for the whole day. So I was like, okay, how do I stop this? So it's like a craving, because as soon as I sat down, I had this. So it's like, I'm going to brush my teeth before I do this. So then it's like a little bit of friction, creates friction between, I don't want to really eat right after I brush my teeth. And so that's like, if that's going to work for you, that works for you. But that's the key, is opportunities for eliminating these weaknesses or improving them and bringing up your strengths. And then threats. Threats are, what if I don't do any of this? Does it matter? What if I don't do any of this at all, Dave? Well, I don't know if it matters. I guess I won't be as happy with how I look. I'll probably get sick more often. I won't have as much energy. Well, start just kind of list, what if I don't do any of this stuff? Not to dwell on it, but to just give you like, okay, yeah, I probably do want to do this. There's a real reason I do want to do this stuff. And that's why. So I would do a SWOT for my fitness. I would do a SWOT for my family. And I would do a SWOT for my business. Like strengths. Just go through 2025. Like this is what you should probably do like right now as you finish this class. Let's start it. So 2025 business. Write that down. We're going to do a SWOT on your business for 2025.
26.
This year, 25. Yep. For this year, because this is done. This is in the past. 2025, up to this point, what are your strengths? Like list 3 things. What did you do really good this year? In business. Not in your family, your health, any of that. Your business. What did you do a good job of? What are you proud of yourself for? Write that down right now. Okay. Get it 2 or 3 things that you feel good about. You did good this year. Come on, Chris. You can do it.
I walk up every day.
Yeah, that was good. You're in the office a lot. You sell a lot of houses, mister. Come on.
I do.
I know. I look at your numbers.
To the board this month. Not on there yet.
And then when you get a couple of those, write down a couple of weaknesses. What did you not do well this year? Maybe I didn't lead generate consistently enough. Maybe I didn't make calls as much as I should have. Maybe I didn't close people. I just had friendly conversations and I never actually closed the loop. A lot of people are great at being friendly. They're not very good at being authoritative and directive. Those are things I want to teach you guys in these classes too, is how to not only be friendly, but then take the lead. People want to be led, but if we don't lead them, they'll go to somebody else who's going to lead them. How many listing appointments have you lost? I lost a ton of listing appointments because the person liked me, I liked them, I thought everything was great, and then they go and list with somebody else. I'm like, I thought they were going to list with me. And after that happens dozens of times, you're like, something must be wrong with me. I'm not closing them somehow. Why am I not getting these listings that seemed like we got along really well, they liked me, and then they listed with Joe Schmo over here, and like, And then realizing, oh, they like me, they do like me, but they saw me as a friend, not as an expert, not as a guide, not as somebody that they would want to lead them. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So that's maybe is what our weakness is we're good at connecting, but maybe we're not good at leading. Maybe that's what your weakness is. So then opportunities. What could I do a little bit differently in 2026? Or starting now, starting in November of 25. What could I do a little bit differently? Could I have a little bit different mindset going into this appointment with somebody? Could I have a little bit different attitude about how I use my calendar and time block different things? Don't overwhelm yourself. It's like, I love Atomic Habits, which I teach that book, Atomic Habits, and we talk about incremental gains, not massive shifts. Massive shifts don't last. Incremental gains can last over a long period of time. If we make a massive shift, it's a suffer fest again. How long can you suffer? A day? A week? Not much longer than a week, I'll bet you, and you're back to what you were doing before. It's like, you can't do it that way. You've got to go incremental. And people say, well, I need the results now. Well, then we got to start small. There's no way to cheat. There's law of the farm. I need to, if you looked at me right now and said, Rick, I need a harvest right now, and I haven't planted, it's like, it's November. I'm sorry, I can't help you. Go get a job and supplement this until, right, we can get back on our feet again, and then go do it. Right? It's like, that's the key though, right? You have to go incremental over a long period of time. That's for anything to work. If you make massive shifts in anything, it's not going to last. So everybody have a few strengths they've listed out that they did this year in 25? Okay, a few weaknesses and opportunities. This is the big one. Just think for a second. What could I do differently? Anybody have any ideas? Who wants to share one? Travis?
I want to get back to time blocking. That's one thing that, again, I've gotten away from.
Mm-hmm.
Be consistently, that word consistent's been big today. Consistently time blocking, and then I think that'll help a lot. It'll give me clarity.
Right.
That's a huge one for me.
It starts with the strategy session. Mm-hmm. It's like people say, what do you do at the gym and work out? Well, it starts with going to the gym. Let's just make that the habit. You can leave if you want, but if you went to the gym every single day and made that a habit, and it's like, okay, now I go to the gym, now we'll start working on what do we do when we're there. Does that make sense? But if you don't even have going to the gym as a habit yet, that's where we start. So time block the strategy session first. Monday mornings at 8 or Sunday nights at 6 or whatever. Whenever you want to, I don't care when you do it. I do mine early Monday mornings. Monday morning, I'm going to sit down and think about my week and figure out what am I doing for my health, my family, and my business. Those are my 3 things. But I do that I've been doing this since 2015, so 10 years. Every week I do this. And I'm really good about it. And the reason I'm really good about it is because I used to be really terrible about it. And I realized how much it was costing me in a lot of things. I was just scattered all over the board. I mean, I'm a realtor. I'm scattered. Are you guys not scattered? Right? I mean, our brains are entrepreneurs. We like lots of stuff. I have a lot of things going on. So if I don't purposely make sure I have some things planned, then I'm not going to do them probably. The cool thing about the habit, though, of that, Travis, is once you start setting your strategy session up and you do them every week, after a while, it's like the norm now. That becomes your identity, right? Talk to John. You guys know John in the other room, Scarpelli, bodybuilder. It's like, my college roommate was a bodybuilder, like John. And I remember we used to go to the gym all the time. I remember somebody asking, we were sitting in a class one time in college, and somebody asked, my friend's name was Tony. They said, Tony, how do you get motivated to go to the gym? And John will tell you the same thing. I talked to John about this. He goes, what do you mean? Like, well, you go to the gym like twice a day. How do you motivate yourself to do that? And he goes, it's just what I do. Like, he didn't really understand the question even. It's not about motivation. It's about your identity of who you think you are. Does that make sense? If you can get an identity of doing the things that grow a business, you'll have a huge business. And it won't be hard. People say, well, it's not hard for you. Well, yeah, it's not hard for him because that's his identity. Motivation has nothing to do with it. Motivation is the beginning of it. But then after identity takes over, it's like, how many of you here smoke cigarettes? So you're all non-smokers, right? So if I offered you a pack of cigarettes, Corey, are you tempted to smoke one?
No.
No. It's pretty easy for you to say no, right?
Right.
Pretty easy for all of you to say no, I would assume. Why? Because your identity is you're a non-smoker. What if I went to a place where people had been smoking for 40 years, now they're trying to quit, and I offered them a pack of cigarettes? Would they have a different reaction than you? Why?
Totally.
Identity, it's not just nicotine, it's not the addiction to the drug, it's stuff that people never talk about. Trying to change your habits is about your identity. It's who I think I am. That's hard to change. I don't give a crap about the nicotine, about holding the cigarette. It's like, no, if I've seen myself as a smoker, thanks Tracy, for 40 years, that's something I have to change. So in business, if you want to have a successful real estate business, just start doing the things regularly that it takes to grow it until they become, first of all, a habit. And eventually, your habits become, if you keep them up, your identity of who you think you are. Then it is easy. You know, somebody that makes a ton of cold calls and closes people, you say, well, they make it look easy. It is easy for them. People used to say that to me all the time. Well, it's easy for you, Rick. Well, yeah, it wasn't for a long time, but I developed the right habits in the right categories, and now things work. But if your habits are doing things that aren't generating business, you're gonna have to change that identity somehow. And changing identity is difficult. It takes a long time. It starts with habits. It starts with tracking, right? Time blocking and keeping yourself accountable. And over a long enough period of time, though, you can change. People quit smoking. People quit drinking. You can do it. It's not easy, but you can change your identity. But you got to start with figuring out where you're at. What are your strengths now? What are your weaknesses now? Then what are some opportunities for change and threats if you don't? Like in real estate, you might say, well, the real estate market, interest rates are high. People can't afford it. Those are threats, things that we don't control, actually. House across the street just went into foreclosure. It's going to sell for $100,000 less than my listing. I don't control that either. That's a threat to my listing and my pricing of my house with my client. But these are things to talk about and be able to. This is a great framework, guys, for a listing presentation, by the way. I used to literally have my journal, which is in my office here, and walk through the house with my journal and do a SWOT with the seller. So tell me, Dave, what do you like about living here? Give me some strengths. I want to go through what's great about this house. Oh, that great tree, or the school system, or the park. And he'll tell me all the strengths. And I'll just be very frank. What are weaknesses? I'll just ask him. And if he doesn't tell me any, I'll tell him. There's a railroad track in your backyard, Dave, right? There's an apartment complex right next door. These are weaknesses. I mean, we're just going to list them right now. We're not saying these are great or bad or whatever. We're just listing them. Here's your strengths. Here's your weaknesses. Opportunities. Well, you could paint the front door. You could re-landscape. You could mow the lawn. You could bark dust this area over here. You know, you could pressure wash the driveway. These are opportunities to make the house look better that don't probably cost a lot of money. Pricing is probably a big opportunity right now. Marketing it and getting it in the right people's hands is going to be a big opportunity. And then threats. Well, the house down the street was a foreclosure. It doesn't look good when we do comps because it's $100,000 less than our house. But people know it's a foreclosure, so, right? But we going through that with the seller, they love that framework. They like you leading them and just being very frank about here's your strengths, here's your weaknesses, here's what we're going to do about it, and then here's, if we don't do anything about it, here's the challenges. You're going to have to reflect this in your price. And people like that. So That's what I want you to do to finish off this class is do a SWOT for something for you. Do the whole thing. Go through all your strengths, weaknesses, what am I going to change? And this is what you calendar. This is what goes in your calendar, is the opportunities for change. I'm going to do something a little different, and then you time block that, right? Put an action step together, in other words. And I want you to do it either on your health, your family, your business, or whatever you decide you want to do it on. And then if you want to come Monday, we'll continue going down this stuff, and I want to kick the lead generation contest and the 7 days off on Monday. That makes sense?
Thank you.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you guys. What time is it?